What's good, everybody, and welcome to an episode of the TIS podcast with your host. He is I, and I am him, Jai Shields, coming at you here on a Tuesday after what was quite arguably the greatest wildcard weekend in the history of the NFL playoffs, and we got a special treat for you today. As you can see, for those of you watching on YouTube, he thought he caught a break with the regular season being over with no more This Week in Sports Ball. Well, little does he know, he's got a special one with yours truly here on today's show, joining me to recap everything and to discuss and rant and rave and crash out on the machinations of what was a sensational weekend of NFL playoff football, the one and only UrinatingTree.
Thank you for having me on again, brother. It's a pleasure. How you doing today, man?
Doing good. Morning after seeing the Steelers go down in flames, tying Marvin Lewis, I'm in a glorious mood. Being in an even better mood if my team was actually partaking in such playoff activity. But hate watching will have to do. I got one team out. I got one team still remaining with the LA Rams.
I think there are a lot of teams that hate watch. Baltimore was absolutely hate watching. We gave Baltimore the overhaul they needed too, which is great.
Yeah, you helped them out. No more Harbaugh.
Tyler Luke missed that kick.
Yeah. Well, since you brought it up quickly, let's start there first. Harbaugh. I was always on record as saying he should have been gone. The breaking point for the Ravens should have been after that 2023 season. They had the best roster in football 1 through 53. Their team was better than Kansas City. Their team was better than San Francisco that year. They should have won the Super Bowl in the most dominant fashion we've seen since the 2000 Ravens. And they didn't get there because they self-destructed. They were undisciplined, turnovers all over the place. That should have been the final straw for Harbaugh in Baltimore, and it wasn't. And they waited too long, and they finally got rid of him. What was your 2 cents on them letting Harbaugh go?
Honestly, he nearly got canned in 2017. They nearly fired him there because of the Tyler Boyd catch. The owner literally came out and said it. Lamar Jackson saved his ass. And the reality is they extended it for too long. You've had years of pain in Baltimore. You've had one Super Bowl ring, but most of that time it's been a lot of just agony, and more agony. I know a lot of people are saying, like, why would you fire John Harbaugh? Like, the culture's gotten incredibly stale. There were adversarial relationships apparently between Monken and Lamar. John Harbaugh kind of lost the room. The defense was terrible. I mean, if you look at it passing yards wise, Nate Wiggins and Marlon Humphrey gave up some of the most passing yards and passer ratings in the NFL this year. And not just that, like Roquan Smith didn't generate a interception, sack, or a forced fumble. It was all tackles. And he wanted to keep Zach Orr. He wanted to keep Todd Monken. And then the ownership decided, you know what? It's time to go a different way. So they had to fire him. I think they go after Jesse Minter with the Chargers. I think he did an outstanding job with them. And they'll be back on the wagon because I think they just needed like this sort of like I don't know about a hard reset. I don't know what they do with Lamar, but I think they at least needed a cultural shakeup. Because I think the reality is things have gotten stale in Baltimore. And you saw it with the repeated blown double-digit leads. You saw it with the repeated failure to launch. They saw it with, just the times where they would just implode. For example, the Steeler game, I think it was just a microcosm of their year. Just because, like, they would continually come back. Their defense couldn't stop a damn thing. Chidobe Awuzie falling victim to the turf monster. And then Tyler Loop with a 44-yard field goal to send him to the playoffs. Wide right. He pulled a Billy Cundiff.
Yeah. Flashbacks of that game.
Yep.
It's just because even like you said, the Awuzie slip. You take a look pre-snap. Why was he playing so far off of Calvin Austin in that situation?
I think he was trying to prevent the deep play, and in the end, he gave up the big play.
It's bad coaching. It's bad coaching, and
or it's not been good.
He's terrible. And there were cries here for him to be fired in October at the bye, and he quote unquote turned it around. But let's be honest. We talked about before we started in the fact that Steelers offense did nothing against good defenses. The Ravens defense did nothing against good offenses. You take a look at that 5-game winning streak. I mean, 9 Tua Dylan Gabriel / Shador Sanders. I mean, the only quarterback of note that they beat during that 5-game winning streak they had in November was Caleb Williams.
Caleb is very hot and cold.
Yeah, he's very hot and cold. And looking back on it, that was the last time prior to 2 weeks ago that Chicago Bears lost the game. So outside of him,
found his magic in the fourth quarter. So
and outside of him, the Ravens defense they were terrible against Jared Goff. They were terrible against Mahomes. They were terrible against Josh Allen. They pitched the shutout to Joe Burrow, but that was after Joe Burrow took them to school in the second half on Thanksgiving night. They stunk against Rodgers twice. Just terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Well, I mean, the Bengals, the Bengals, they won against the Steelers, but that was more because of their defense being really predictable. I mean, Flacco played the game. Was all they did were inside slants. But still, same thing.
100%. Let's jump right into it with this game between the Rams and the Panthers. I said before this game that the thing I wanted to see is because I knew that the Rams were going to win. Now, albeit I was watching like a mug for the Panthers to win. I can't stand the Rams as far as I can throw them, but I knew they were going to win going in. My thing was how will the Rams beat Carolina on Saturday afternoon? You know, for all the talk, they're the best team in football, all the team to beat, they're going to Super Bowl, they're going to win it, blah, blah, blah. I say, I get the whole Stafford McVay quotient, but it's a team. It's not the NBA. It's a team game, okay? It's about your O-line. It's about your run game. It's about your defense. And I wanted to see how well their defense was going to play against Carolina in the aftermath of how they performed in that building 6 weeks prior Thanksgiving weekend. And I don't see a Super Bowl team, man. I don't see it.
I mean, you're going back into Seattle. Oh wait, you're not going to Seattle. You're going to Chicago, but they're known for fourth quarter comebacks. Sorry, I'm thinking Philly won.
No, you're fine. No, you're fine. It's just this team is not going to, let alone winning a Super Bowl. Their secondary is still awful. Their pass rush is too hot and cold. They can't run the ball. McVay, he and Zach Taylor, one and the same. They think running the football is like the Black Plague. They avoid it like it's a sickness. It's just no run game. Your secondary's terrible. And then if Stafford isn't playing perfect, that only makes your margin of error that much slimmer. And he wasn't perfect on Saturday. He had a great first quarter, started the game 8 for 8, I think, and then completely fell off the face of the earth towards the end of the half and in the third quarter, and then turned it on in the fourth.
I think he had a finger injury too. I think that did a little bit of it as well, from what I'd heard.
It did. But again, that's all the more reason why this is not a Super Bowl team. And then McVay goes ahead against a team that won 8 games that backdoored their way into the playoffs, and he has the prime opportunity up 17-7 to kick a field goal to make it a 20-7 game. And what does he do? He goes for it.
Down. That was a lot of issues with a lot of coaches this time around.
And it wasn't like it was a 50 right, and it wasn't like it was a 50-something yard field goal. I mean, that was going to be a 37-yard field goal, and he said nope. He bites off more than he can chew, and at that very moment, the game was different from there till the final snap.
Yep, Jags and Chargers did it too, and it cost them their games. I think the Packers might have done it too, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, they did.
I think the thing as well is that I think with the Panthers, you at least showed something that you have some semblance of progress moving forward. I mean, Bryce Young, he's a very hot and cold quarterback as well. But he did well against the Rams defense. I figured like the Panthers would play them tough because they beat them last time. I was on Team Chaos. I was hoping Carolina would win. But the problem is with the Rams, it's just they're a strong team. They played with their food for way too long. A bunch of really key drops. They had, Stafford went cold just because of the hand injury and a couple other factors there too. The run game couldn't really get much going there. The Panthers offense was pretty much going ham against their defense, and they had a lead at one point, and Carolina should have won that game. But the problem is Panthers sold and went into prevent defense. I mean, I'm sorry, you're going up against a quarterback who's notorious for 2-minute drills, and you're playing passive. What do you expect was going to happen?
It
And
was terrible.
instead, it just Rams win, they get away with it. But at the same time, I mean, if you're the Panthers, I mean, I think you're satisfied with how the season went. It wasn't pretty, but at the same time, considering how bad they were 2 years ago, I think you're treating this like a glorious win. I mean, you could be something. I don't know what Bryce Young is going to be, especially because, he's a very up and down quarterback. But at the same time, I think he's shown enough to buy you another year. I think he's done. I mean, with the running back situation, you have to figure out what happens with Rico Dowdle because, he came out and had comments saying that not getting the ball enough might impact his free agency decision. You had Chuba Hubbard too. I think you're okay there. Teteroa McMillan, really damn good wide receiver. I think he's got a bright future there. Excellent. And your defense, once again, you've got some holes to fix, but you still have Derek Brown, J.C. Horn. I think you've got solid there too. Question is, I think you've got a decent little future in Carolina so far if things can progress the way they are. If they keep improving.
I agree. And they missed J.C. Horn tremendously on Stafford's game-winning drive there at the end. Not having him out there on the field killed them. Dave Canales has done a solid job. The thing I didn't understand, when he went for it on 4th down on their first drive of the game, I had no problem in going for it, but the play call was just a disaster, in my opinion. And I think during that final drive, you have 32 seconds and a full complement of timeouts. He's trying to get the 20, 25-yard gain. I understand what he's trying to accomplish because it wasn't like that they had the ball at their own 35 or 40. But, I mean, one dink and dunk won't hurt you when you have 3 timeouts. I mean, you want to at least get the ball rolling where you have some positive momentum on that drive. And he had Bryce Young drop back the pass on 3 consecutive plays trying to either find the deep pass that's going to get them to about midfield or trying to fish for an illegal contact or defensive pass interference penalty. But outside of that, I mean, they did a solid job throughout the course of this season. Another thing with the Rams, too, their special teams. I mean, whether it's field goal and then Saturday, it was the punt getting blocked. I mean, all 3 phases, people. All 3 offense, defense, special teams. I don't care about how well Matthew Stafford plays. It means nothing, especially in an inclement weather next weekend in the cold and the snow in Chicago. If your special teams is going to gift your op a free drive with the short field, and on top of that, if your defense can't get stops. I mean, if the Rams aren't in a situation where Matthew Stafford has the ball last, they're going to lose because the rest of the team outside of him is just not that good. I'm sorry, outside of he and Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams, the rest of the team is not as good as everyone makes out to be. It's not, and I've said that for weeks. I can't fathom and wrap my mind around the national media infatuation with the LA Rams, simply because of the quarterback and the head coach.
It's the analytics too. I mean, in terms of their DVOA, in terms of their offensive production as well, they're one of the stronger teams there, but they've mostly been imploding. I mean, they had a chance to take that division against the Rams or the Seahawks. They blew that. They blew it against the Niners. They blew it against the Panthers, the Eagles too. And that's been their issue.
It's going to come back to bite them in the ass. Against Chicago, against Seattle again, against San Francisco, then you're not going to win. This team's not that good. They're a wild card team for a reason. They're not that good. Game number 2. What a game between the Packers and the Chicago Bears.
Oh, dude, that is a game you do not recover from if you're a Packers player or a fan. I mean, just ask the Chargers how running it back worked out for them after they blew that big lead to Jacksonville. That's what I'm thinking is with Green Bay. That's why I think Matt LaFleur should be canned. I mean,
yes,
there's still a chance he won't. It might be money that is the reason why they won't move on. But at the same time, it's like his offense went ice cold in the third quarter. You had 4 straight dud drives. That's what pretty much cost you the game. Because the problem is you're against a team that has pulled fourth quarter comebacks out of their ass. They're like the AFC version of the Broncos.
Right.
just with like a different quarterback with a little more talent. But at the same time, they've pulled this stuff like out of their ass repeatedly, and a lot of turnovers, freaking production. And guess what happened? Caleb Williams happened. As I said, like in a bunch of YouTube comments, you can't spell cinema without Iceman. And guess what? The Iceman cometh. And he destroyed that defense that was battered to hell. And what ended up happening was a choke of chokes. And as I said, 25 points in the fourth quarter, you blew an 18-point lead. That is fireable, especially even for the injuries that they had. But still, it's that is a nightmare situation against a hated rival that is never, ever going to let you live that down. Nope. And I know Packers fans will say, like, oh, fuck the Packers. And it's like everyone's pissed about Ben Johnson. Where were you when Aaron Rodgers did that whole I still own you crap? Just saying. Isn't that the same thing?
It is the same. It's or how about when the draft was in Green Bay and Clay Matthews had the envelope and he was like, the Bears still suck. I mean, come on. I mean, to the victor goes the spoils. I'm sorry. Like, you can get, and I don't want to hear none of this, win with class, where's your sportsmanship? I don't want to hear that shit, okay? If there's any element of life in 2025, we need more hate instead of love fest. It's in sports. That's our problem. We got hate in everything but in sports.
I think there's a lot of hate in sports, man. It's mostly localized.
We need this. It's good, okay? I hear all this talk about Packers, Bears, the greatest rivalry in the National Football League, the oldest rivalry in the National Football League, blah, 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 blah. It's good, okay? LaFleur doesn't like Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson doesn't like Matt LaFleur. So if they want to have an icy handshake at the end of games, if Ben Johnson wants to say fuck the Packers during their post-game celebration in the locker room, that's fine. That's perfect. That's the beauty of sports. That's the beauty of competition. That's the beauty of manhood. That's testosterone. That's competitive juices. That's playoff football, divisional rivalries at its finest.
Exactly.
And anyone that has a problem with that simply just doesn't get it. Real quick, by the way, on Matt LaFleur, you brought him up. 38 and 33-1 since 2021. 0-3 in the playoffs. 3 consecutive 7 seeds that should not exist. On top of that collapse,
that's the only reason he still has a job. The only reason he still has a job is a 7th seed.
He can't survive. And they ended their season on what, a 4-5 game losing streak?
5-game losing streak. And to be fair, a lot of that was due to injuries, but still, that is damning, especially blowing that game against the Chicago the first time too.
Yes. You can't excuse this. I'm sorry. And it's not like that you can sit up here and say, well, he's young. Well, I mean, he is young, but he's young in his tenure as the Green Bay Packers head coach. Oh, he's only had Jordan Love. Matt LaFleur was coming up small and inventing new ways to lose in January when he had Aaron Rodgers within his MVP seasons. Like, we've had this conversation in 2019, in 2020 against the Bucs, in 2021 against San Francisco in the snow. This is not the first time we've talked about Matt LaFleur coming up small with this playing not to lose, coaching scared mentality in the playoffs. That's why he couldn't win a Super Bowl when he had Aaron Rodgers' last few years in Green Bay. And he's recycling the same foolishness with Jordan Love. So it's like, if you can't win with the creme de la creme, what in the world makes you think? Now, it wasn't Jordan Love's fault, don't get me wrong, but everyone knows that Jordan Love's not nowhere near as good a quarterback now in his prime compared to Rodgers 5 years ago. And he's still inventing new ways to lose in January.
Honestly,
when is enough enough?
That was not actually Jordan Love's fault. He had an outstanding game, especially in the first half. But the problem is, like, they went ice cold in the second half. He did engineer a really solid drive in the fourth quarter that should have put it away, but the defense looked kind of sold. So, unfortunately, they're in a situation where, okay, I mean, great. You have a lost season. Micah Parsons will be coming back, but at the same time, once again, like, that was a golden opportunity that was squandered. And now you've got a huge hole at cornerback because Carrington Valentine and Keyshawn Nixon, they are sieves. That is a mess. Awful. You need corners bad.
Awful.
Yep.
The one thing about the only area of that collapse in which Jordan Love deserves blame, and I went back and looked before we started. and this is LaFleur and Jordan Love. How in the hell do you get a delay of game penalty coming out of the timeout? You're up 3 with 3 minutes to go in a drive you have to have with your season on the table. Jordan Love, they break the huddle with 20 seconds left on the play clock. Why in the world does Jordan Love wait 12 seconds before he makes his final pre-snap adjustments? And then when he realized, oh, crap, I'm running out of time, he turns towards the side just looking to get the timeout in when you just took a timeout and you take back timeouts. That's an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. That's the one area within their collapse in which Jordan Love deserves blame because he's been in the league since 2020. He has to know that. Like that is flagrantly. He's the quarterback of the team. That's flagrantly in that situation unacceptable. But outside of that, X's and O's, it wasn't his fault. But in that situation, he's got to know better. Oh, well, yeah.
How much is that on the floor, though?
It's on LaFleur. Yeah, it's on LaFleur first and foremost, and then Love on the field has got to know that. Mm-hmm. He's got to know that. But yeah, going back to Valentine, he didn't give Ben Johnson credit. The play design that he had on the game-winning touchdown pass to DJ Moore was absolutely phenomenal. They have the trips formation down towards the near sideline, and he has and fakes like he's going to have what's the guy's name? Luther Burden have him run a screen. Valentine bites and leaves DJ Moore open up the sideline.
Coverage near side.
Oh, it was gorgeous. It was absolutely gorgeous. But he and Nixon, they can't cover. They cannot cover a queen-size bed with a king-size bed sheet. They stink.
Keyshawn Nixon is the reason why they tied that game the first time, too. He blew his coverage against Ja'Day Walker in that game. Keyshawn Nixon missed his coverage.
And, by the way, yet another special teams January from Matt LaFleur. 3 missed kicks from Brandon
McManus needs to go. He needs to go. He has been terrible all year. He has been a hot mess. I think he was I read a stat that he was 3 from 9 this year from 40 to 49. That is pathetic, especially even in the old NFL. I mean, obviously the most heinous thing Brandon McManus has ever done. Let's be real there. But as I said, he should be gone. Matt LaFleur and Brandon McManus should have been gone the night of that loss. Because the problem is, once again, it's, as I said, LaFleur's been on hot coals all year. I mean, this was make or break. And with that kind of collapse, that's fireable. McManus cost you the game you can argue he cost him single-handedly. He blew 7 points.
Yeah. 2 field goals and an extra point. I mean, that's the difference between Cancun or Dayton, Seattle this weekend. It's just it's unacceptable. And I don't know if you picked up on this, but when they completed that 3rd and 3 pass to Romeo Doubs with about 44 seconds left, that was a little quick 5-yard completion. The play itself barely took any time off the clock. You got to spike it. You got to save that last timeout until you get to under the 20-second mark, in my opinion. You can't use your 3rd and final timeout after a quick, short 5-yard completion on 3rd and 3. You got to, because everyone in Green Bay Packer white and yellow is relatively close to where Dobbs caught the ball. You got to, once he catches it and goes down, you got to sprint up to the new line of scrimmage, spike the football, and do whatever it is possible to save that 3rd and final timeout. What's your thoughts on that?
I think the thing, too, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation for there. Because the problem is, if you burn the timeout, you do okay, then you spot the go for it. I think he looks like a genius because you burn as much clock as you can. But the problem is, if you have a situation where you don't burn that timeout, then you're going to be saying, why didn't you burn the timeout? So it's, as I said, you're picking apples and oranges there. I mean, the thing is, once again, you couldn't get to the end zone. You still blew it. That's all there is to it.
Yep. Caleb Williams, he's something else. He's
clutch, man.
And the thing about him is that you can see how well he's matured from his rookie year to now. Not just playing the position, but the in between the ears leadership qualities. He has taken a tremendous leap up and forward.
And if he gets the consistency going, if he gets the consistency going, oh Lord, he might become an elite echelon like an Allen or a Mahomes.
Yes, if he can ever put it together in quarters 1 through 3 and fix that accuracy, there's not a doubt in my mind during the next decade or so he's going to win the Chicago Bears Super Bowl. And hell, for all we know, it could be this year.
For eternity. He will have statues built in his name for eternity. Him and Ben Johnson will be gods in Chicago. They will never have to buy another drink in that city again.
Yep. It could happen as early as this year with this crazy-ass NFL season.
Oh, yeah.
With the Bills and the Jaguars, with Jacksonville, first of all, if you're Liam Cohen, you're up 10-3. Go.
They got greedy. They got greedy. And they had a special teams fumble. They could have figured to keep putting that away, and they didn't. And the problem is the shin was down, and it cost them in the end because Buffalo went on a big comeback drive. Josh Allen had the game of his life. He saved Sean McDermott's job. That's my reality there. Like, they just couldn't stop him. That's why I say Josh Allen, the fire god, because that dude is just – he was pretty much banged up from every start of the category. I was pretty much saying Sean McDermott is using all his MP on heel spells for Josh Allen, just trying to get him back on the field, like, go. And then Josh Allen rewarded him because, as I said, dude had the game of his life. And quite frankly, he carried them to the win. The Bills' defense did decently too, but the problem is it's like Jacksonville, you're kind of kicking yourself because – this was an opportunity. You had a good chance to win, but the problem is 2 plays undid them. That Cam Little missed by halftime, which honestly, it's still ticky if they even should have had that chance. Could be a ball don't lie situation. And going forward on 4th down. Those are 6 points right there. And then Trevor Lawrence threw his dirt pick at the end of the drive, and I'm like, oh, boy. I think they're in solid hands, especially once they get Travis Hunter back. But at the same time, I mean, you have to hope Trevor Lawrence is able to get some more of those kinks out of him. And I think if he does that, I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, they'll be fine going forward. Like you said, getting Travis Hunter back, but it's just you're up 7-3. Just take the points and go up 2 scores. Just go up 2 scores. I mean, I don't understand, and I'm all for going forward on 4th down, being aggressive. Realizing it's a playoff game, not a regular season game against Tennessee in the middle of October. I get it. But I'm also of the mindset of you don't want to chase points, especially that early in the game. Because like we saw with Ben Johnson going forward on 4th and 5 inside his own 35-yard line, that's a sign of desperation. And if you don't get it, you breathe life into the opposition. You just kick the field because the worst that happens, you kick the field goal and make it 10-3. Buffalo comes down the field and scores. The game is tied. Instead, Buffalo goes into the half up a possession. It was terrible. And then the Lawrence interception. If you want to throw the ball to Jacoby Myers in that situation, fine. That ball's got to be right here in the numbers. You can't, when Tre'Davious White is draped all over him, you can't put him in a situation where he has to reach up and reach for the ball like this, because in the event he doesn't catch it and it ricochets off his fingertips, that's tip drill. Can't happen in that spot. Can't happen. I think Liam Cohen also, where he also fouled up, he abandoned the run. He tried.
He was doing well. Bills have a terrible run defense.
He tried so hard to have Trevor Lawrence win him that game. It's like you even saw it in the first half. It's like Trevor Lawrence, he isn't playing terrible, but your run game is what is going to be working best against Buffalo's weakest component of their defense. Travis Etienne averaged 7 yards a carry. Tulin, their other running back, was averaging damn near 13 yards a carry. And they only ran the football between the two of them 14 times. That's just, you got to be able to run the football. These coaches get way, they get scared, to get nervous, where if they don't break out for a 50-yard or a 30-yard gain, they feel like they're going to lose and not going to be able to move the ball down the field. And they say, okay, quarterback, here you go, take us home. Like, no, let the game come to you. If you can run the football, especially if that's been your bread and butter throughout the course of the season, why abandon it? Especially if you're going up against a defense that has problems stopping the run like we saw with Jacksonville like we saw with the Buffalo Bills all season long.
Correct.
Game number 2 from Sunday, but 3 in general. No, we did the third one. Game 2 from Sunday, game 4 in general.
Yes.
The Philadelphia Eagles. What a joke. It's an absolute joke. First off, with Sirianni and Kevin Patullo, okay? I don't understand this. We saw in late September, early October, hell, we saw this second half, week 1 against the Cowboys, that something with this offense was not right. You had 18 weeks. You had a bye week. You had the weeks coming off of the losses to when you collapsed against Denver in the fourth quarter at home, when you lost to the Giants because you couldn't generate any offense that Thursday night in Jersey in early October. I mean, how many examples did Sirianni and Kevin Patullo need for them to say, okay, something is obviously not working. We got to take a different course of action here. And not one time did Nick Sirianni put his big boy pants on as the quote-unquote CEO of the football team and kick his buddy the hell out the door. What's more important?
But it's okay. He took more of a role in the offense, but it didn't really show. I mean, they kept trying to establish the run to no gain. It's like Saquon up the middle, he loses 2 yards. Saquon up the middle, he maybe gains 1. And then third down, they either try to throw it deep or throw like an incomplete pass somewhere. Maybe it's a dropped on a check down, and then they punt. That was their thing. They had the most 3-and-outs in the NFL. That never changed. And they kept getting away with it a lot of the time. They finally no longer got away with it. And it was against a defense that was starting literal plumbers at linebacker. They had guys like random scrubs at corner. They had no pass rush. They had no interceptions. They had no real splash players. But at the same time, they still looked terrible against them.
It was pathetic.
They out-talented them at nearly every angle, especially on the offense to the defensive side. But the same issues kept popping up. Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni are the culprits for this year's failure. And that's what angers me the most, because they have a chance at a dynasty, and they're pissing it away. And the problem is, like, they've won in spite of Sirianni. But as I said, they should be gone. I'm sorry. And A.J. Brown, he played his last game as an Eagle. He does all this whining throughout the year. He talks about how he's not getting the ball, how he's not being respected enough, how he has these kumbaya sessions with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley, and said there's no such meeting, and then he has to clarify it. He has individual meetings with Jeff Lurie about his grievances. He's being coddled all year, and then you do that against the game. All those drops, man, dude.
Can't happen.
Get out. That was pathetic.
It was a joke. I mean, Arthur Brown, if you sit up here and just catch the ball. Slant route, middle of the field, catch the ball. Go route down the sideline, catch the ball.
That's what you're paid.
Catch the ball. We know Patullo stinks. We get that. But your job still is to show up regardless of who the offensive coordinator is. And Sirianni had every right to chew him out on the sideline, because you can't be the distraction you were throughout the entire season and then turn around and perform like that and then have the nerve to sulk and mope and slouch and poison the sideline with your bad body language. I mean, and I'm an A.J. Brown fan, but he's got to grow up a little bit because he let his team down tremendously. Let him down tremendously. And getting back to Patullo and Sirianni for a minute, I mean, my brother asked me after the game, he was like, Jai, why do you think the Philadelphia Eagles lost? I said, Ian, it's simple. Because their passing game is so vanilla. It's a bunch of hitches, comebacks, curls, and out routes. Like, if I know I'm a defensive back for the 49ers or any other team, and I know that they're not going to attack the middle of the field, and they're going to run a very basic, simple route tree, it's a walk in the park. All I got to do is make sure that I don't turn my back towards the quarterback. I make sure that I have my back towards the opposite side of the field. I keep him parallel to the sideline, and I make sure on 50-50 balls he doesn't create enough separation for him to moss me when they say, all goes $9.99. I mean, if you're going up against that, it's a walk in the park. They were leaving the middle of the field open all game long, and not one time did they make an adjustment and say, "Hey, let's run some slants, let's run a few drag routes." And it was your season's on the line. Your season's on the line, and the play you draw up with your season on the table and a title defense is 4 verticals.
Really? As I was about to say, all verts, 4 men deep.
Really?
It was a 4th and 10. And
it's just, I cannot stand it when talented, and in any sport, I can't stand it when talented teams get wasted because they have literal dunces and hollow-headed morons as their brain trust and leadership. It's just like, let's call it like we see it. Sirianni and Patullo, a bunch of low IQ frat boys. The most adult coach on that football team was Vic Fangio.
So he's the only reason why they've won anything.
And honest, their defense didn't play as well as they should have. But when they've bailed out this feeble offense all season long, it's like they only can do but so much when they have to go on the field time after time after time after time. They can only do but so much. And Shanahan was due to have a good right. And Shanahan was due to have a big game against the Vic Fangio coach defense for a change.
Correct.
But it wasn't his fault. They took away the football twice. They won the turnover battle 2-0.
Brock Purdy did not have a fantastic game by any stretch of the imagination. They gave him fits. I mean, he was throwing to DeMarcus Robinson and Kendrick Bourne. Like, let's be real here. I mean, San Francisco, hell of a job by them for their gutsy performance. I mean, it goes to show you the power of really good coaching. But the reality is, Philly should have won that game 10 times over. I mean, San Fran was destroyed.
Yeah. The game shouldn't, especially with the 2 turnovers, the game shouldn't have been close. And Philly only walks away with a field goal off the 2 turnovers. I mean, it's a joke. And then Jake Elliott can't be bothered to make extra points anymore. He's been having trouble with field goals all year. He couldn't make anything over 50. And if I'm Jeffrey Lurie, I'm like, there's multiple, like you said, A.J. Brown has got to go. Jake Elliott's got to go. And the combination of Sirianni and Patullo have got to go. Because the thing that makes it more damning with Sirianni, we've gone through this before 2 years ago. Correct. They come off the Super Bowl season, they lose their offensive coordinator, and Nick Sirianni has absolutely zero clue on who to hire to be the successor. And instead, he relies on familiarity and the path of least resistance and quote unquote continuity as he disguises it, when it really is nothing more than bro culture and inside nepotism and friendship and all that bullshit. I mean, it's enough. It's enough. He let A.J. Brown be a huge distraction throughout the course of the season, and not one time in the 19 weeks of their season did he decide to pull the plug with this useless offensive coordinator, and he let it kill this team's season. I'm not saying they should have this was a team that was great enough to repeat, to win the Super Bowl, let alone go back. Well, yeah, they had the talent to repeat, and I'm not saying that that was going to be their ceiling. But the fact that the defending champions as a team that won their division in a landslide couldn't win a lousy playoff game against a battered, beaten up, pissed off San Francisco 49ers team is a joke and an utter embarrassment. I said it on my radio show that I do here in the city. I said, let's be honest, the 2018 Eagles didn't go out this sad. The 2018 Eagles put together a better title defense season than these guys did. Let's be honest.
They were just battered to hell that year, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, injuries all up, but they went out better than this. This was pathetic, absolutely pathetic. Correct. And by the way, before we put Kyle Shanahan in the Hall of Fame, me and you can outcoach the village idiots of Patullo and Sirianni. Let's take it easy.
That's not saying much.
Yeah, let's take it easy before we crown Shanachoke, okay? he can win all the playoff games and a wild card and a division round till the cows come home, and even championship Sunday for that matter. Win a Super Bowl. Win a Super Bowl. You want me to get off your back? Win a Super Bowl. All salad is such a great.
Yeah, the problem is like Shanahan has that curse. Like as I said, it's like 28-3 just haunts him, and he doesn't really learn from it.
Matt LaFleur was on that staff too, which we learned this weekend with the hilarity in that.
Yep.
Last game from Sunday. I don't know. We'll do the Patriots first. I don't know what the Patriots ceiling is going to be this January. Part of me thinks they could get wrecked by that Texans defense on Sunday, and then the other half of me says they could go to the Super Bowl as the team that no one expects but makes it just because. Drake May's got to play better.
Yeah.
They got bailed out by horrific play from Herbert. I still
Herbert
don't know
and the
what to
O-line,
make it.
like both are bad. Like I mean, Herbert didn't do any favors, but his offensive line was putrid. It's been all year.
I don't know what to make of the New England Patriots though, because their offensive line wasn't that good on the flip side too. To be honest with you, and going up against that Texan pass rush is going to be a severe mismatch.
They might die. So you got to be careful about that. I know, like, if I were a Patriots fan, I'd rather be playing the Steelers because, quite frankly, I mean, you at least can hold their pass rush to some extent. Like the Texans they're relentless. And the only way to stop them is to hope CJ Stroud self-destructs. But the reality is, I think with the Patriots, this is a great season. I mean, you've turned around the culture. You've boosted your rebuild really fast. Drake May is MVP for him. He's emerged into your franchise quarterback, which is huge. And that's it. Travion Henderson's been really good. The defense has been pretty stout. Offensive line, I mean, they do need some help. Like Will Campbell was not good, but he's coming back from injury. I think that's a little bit of it as well. But at the same time, I think like there was a lot of things that you need to hammer out and quickly. So do they do it? I don't know. But the thing is, you are going to get another home playoff game. You are going to get a situation where Houston Texans have to come in and play spoiler again, or just beat you into submission, or just bully the hell out of you like they did Pittsburgh.
Right.
Or, I mean, just hope like the opposing offense apparently has no idea what your defense is scheming up or like in coverage. And that was it. Did you see that quote by Robert Spillane? Apparently saying like a couple Chargers offensive players said they had no idea like we were doing. I'm like, what? Like I know defenses can disguise coverages, but there's no way it should have been that blatant and that damning for an offense. And the Chargers, as I said, like I know they say Herbert's the if quarterback. The LA Chargers are the if team. Like it's like, if they have everybody healthy, if they ran into a situation, if they get a brand new coach, if they get another franchise quarterback like a Justin Herbert, if they get a running game, if they get receivers they can catch. It's every fucking time. It's just the if team. And it's just the thing is it never happens.
They are in the category, not because they ran poorly, but you just get the feeling that the team is just cursed. Like they're in the category of the Browns, Jets, and honestly, the Bengals as those football teams that'll just never win a Super Bowl for one reason or another. It feels like they'll never win. But and Jim Harbaugh, I mean, let's be honest, he ain't exactly he's not exactly a Don Coryell either. I mean, you're in a defensive slugfest in the first quarter. Okay, it's not that you have the best.
They don't take the points.
It's not like you have the best offense in the sport. It's a nothing game. Break the seal, draw first blood, and just kick the field goal. Just to get some points on the board and walk out of that drive with some semblance of accomplishment. And then instead he decides to go for it. Vrabel does a sensational job drawing up the cover zero, gets Herbert flushed out wide. Just take the points. Will you? Just take the damn points. And by the way,
they're not going to though. They're not going to.
Why is, and you brought it up, why talking about how vanilla their offense was, Why is Greg Roman still a coordinator in 2025 NFL football? Enough is enough. If he couldn't find a way to get it done with Lamar Jackson, what in the hell makes you think he's going to find a way to get it done with Justin Herbert or any other quarterback? I mean, he's a decent coordinator, but to a point. He's got to go. If Jim saw that his brother could only take it but so far in Baltimore, what in the world makes you think that you could do the same with Herbert? And with Herbert, it's worse because Herbert's not a running quarterback. He's a pocket passer.
He's a dual threat guy. Like, he only runs when he needs to.
Right. And it's like, what are you doing? It's stupid. This absolute stupidity.
And you got him killed all year. So, which is great. I mean, part of that has to do with the Slater and Alt injuries. But the problem is with Slater, he's coming up with a ruptured patellar tendon. Who knows if he's the same? And your interior offensive line has been flops. Mekhi Becton couldn't stay healthy. Bozeman was terrible. Zion Johnson couldn't really do much either. And at tackle, you were down to Austin Deculus and Bobby Hart and Trey Pipkins. Like, you're done. I'm sorry. Yeah. Bobby Hart, he never played blindside before, and he's thrown there because they didn't have a choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And by the way, with Herbert, it's enough of him, too. It's 3 consecutive playoff clunkers. He hasn't thrown a touchdown pass in his last 2 playoff games. It's enough. He turns over the football constantly. He missed open. I understand he doesn't have Kellen Winslow. But he didn't do himself any favors. Yeah, he was terrible. Missed open receivers. He puts the ball in harm's way. He's pathetic. And due respect to him, I saw Joe Burrow go up against a Mike Vrabel coach defense, got sacked 9 times on the road, and found a way to win it. And found a way to win the damn game. I don't want to hear any excuses for Justin Herbert. Enough. He's winless. He's got Andy Dalton's playoff stat line. I don't want to hear it. Enough's enough with him too. Now to your game with the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Houston Texans.
Oh, Lord.
It feels like every single year it's Groundhog's Day that we've had this conversation regarding Pittsburgh.
Actually, speaking of which, there has been an update. Chargers have just fired Greg Roman.
Oh, wow.
It just came in from Ari Mayra about a half hour ago. So during the middle of the show.
Oh, wow. Well, there you go. Yeah, he's good. Because you can't – Herbert's playoff choke jobs aside, you're not winning a championship if you have him as your offensive coordinator. You're not. But yeah, good pickup by you, middle of the recording. That's a championship television right there, championship broadcast.
I just stumbled on it, man.
Lucky to draw with that one.
Greg Roman Empire burns. Well,
so with your game, we've had this conversation ad infinitum. They should have been gone arguably after the 2017 loss to Jacksonville, which is really where all of this playoff
started cascading.
You're right.
Maybe a little earlier than that. It was losing to New England in 16. Yeah. And then 17, as I said, it just – and then, like, I thought he should have been fired after the 2018 season because they flat out collapsed. They missed the playoffs. You had the X-ray machine. You had them raiding Le'Veon's locker room. It didn't seem like he had any control over his player situation. Antonio Brown running amok and then falling to shit. Big Ben throwing players under the bus on his radio show. And it's like, dude, what are we doing here? And then it just came back to a situation where it's like, oh, boy. So now we're just in the same loop over and over again because the problem is Tomlin's not the main issue. The main issue is already 2. The situation is like he is a boob. He believes that they're so obsessed with their Steeler way and the way they ran things, they refuse to make the changes they need. Problem is Tomlin is well past his expiration date here. I think he's a good coach, but he's well past his expiration date here. And it's obvious his flaws keep getting back. And the reality is he's not learning anything. He's not bringing in anybody fresh. He's never out relinquishing control. His ego is out of control. And the reality is you get lucky. Splash plays, fluke bullshit. You won a bunch of games this year because the New England Patriots self-destructed. Chris Boswell's a god. The Indianapolis Colts self-destructed on offense. You have 2 games won by heinous ref ball, including one where the NFL admitted they fucked up with the leverage penalty on Baltimore, not to mention the Isaiah
likely drop
And then you had the penalties against Detroit, also, like, which could have been like a pick. It could have been either or, but you nearly blew that game. And not just that, you also had Tyler Luke miss a gimme kick, which got you in the playoffs to begin with. So, as I said, the defense did everything in their power to try to win you that game. Actually, hell, C.J. Stroud was the one that tried to win you that game. He self-destructed. He had 5 fumbles. 2 of them were recovered by the defense, and he had a pick. Sorry, 2 picks. And we're just sitting there like, what are we doing? And you only get 3 points off those turnovers. You can do nothing against that Texans defense. I know that Texans defense is really good, but this has been an issue of the Steelers all year. They have laid massive eggs on offense against elite defenses. They can't break them. And the problem is, if you want to win championships, that's how you have to do it. The Texans defense is what the Steelers defense pretend their defense is. They were shit wreckers. They made things happen nonstop. And yeah, every time they had a chance, DK Metcalf had a huge drop in the first quarter. You had a few situations where you had other guys drop. Aaron Rodgers missed a few targets. The running game could get nothing going because they were too kind of predictable there. You have situations where they were stuck in 3rd and long nonstop, and 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers isn't going to get you out of that situation. Chris Boswell was the only reason you won a field goal. I mean, and then the fourth quarter, the wheels completely fall off. And yeah, as I said, once that strip 6 happened, we're like, oh no. Yeah. Oh no. Then what ended up happening was Aaron Rodgers, they had like a couple bad plays, deflection, they punt, because, trust the defense. And then they just went on this brutal, like, just killer drive, which destroyed every single chance. They made Christian Kirk look like he was Julian Edelman out there. They were without Nico Collins, their best receiver. And they made them go ham. Him, Dalton Schultz, Woody Marks, Nick Chubb. They just went nonstop, and they beat you into submission on that drive. And then, as an ironic twist, Aaron Rodgers' Packers career ends on an interception. Aaron Rodgers' Steelers career potentially ends on a pick 6.
Yeah. Hilarious. It was great. He couldn't function against good defenses, like you said. He couldn't function. It's just like, I don't know if you're the Steelers and you still pride yourself on winning championships instead of falling into the dark hole of mediocrity. Like, I don't understand. Like, at some point, you got to realize you got to get off the hamster wheel of insanity. That they're exhorting all of this energy and all of this effort, and they're not going anywhere. We've had this conversation. We had it after they got curb stomped by the Ravens the year before. We had it when they were uncompetitive against Buffalo. We had it when they got their teeth kicked in by Kansas City, when they got their teeth kicked in by the Cleveland Browns. Like, at some point, you have to make a change. And they're not going to. That's the problem. Because the thing that drives me crazy is that everyone is like, oh my God, Mike Tomlin's such a great coach. He's never had a losing season, blah, blah, blah.
The national media is still defending this guy. Problem is, most of us in Pittsburgh, local media, everyone else around here, we're sick of his shit. Because the problem is, like, he'll talk this big game. I remember, like, after that Baltimore game, he nearly tried to blow the game 5 separate times, going for it with 2 seconds left before halftime, burning all 3 timeouts on an offensive drive, burning those off, having your defense get destroyed 3 separate times on broken coverages and blown plays. Tyler misses a field goal. He's doing this, like, he's flexing to the camera. Like, what are we doing here, man?
Yeah.
Come on.
It's like you got saved by your own, you got spared from your own accomplishment.
Exactly. And that's been the Steelers' issue for a long time. You've only made the playoffs 3 times because Indianapolis collapsed, Jacksonville collapsed, and Tyler Luke choked.
Yeah.
And they got blown the fuck out in each of them. I don't know why I'm pissed off about a house money game, but I somehow am. I don't know.
Well, it's because you care, and it's the same narrative, just a different cast of characters. Because nothing has changed. I mean, yes, they've lost playoff games to great quarterbacks of Allen, Mahomes, Lamar. They've also lost games to Blake Bortles, C.J. Stroud, Baker Mayfield. And I've looked horrible against those, and I've looked horrible against those 6 quarterbacks. Like,
you know what I realized? Yeah, and the thing too, it's like not just that. It's like, you know who has a playoff win more recently than Mike Tomlin? Mike Malarkey. It's bad, dude. It's bad. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just had to say.
No, it's insane. You know, I mean, you know how much I cannot. I despise Zach Taylor, and their January side by side. Zach Taylor might as well be Bill Belichick. Mike Tomlin's been that pathetic in the playoffs.
Zach Taylor's a better coaching tree than Mike Tomlin. That's the most heinous part. Another one of his OCs might get hired as a head coach. Tomlin has had nobody promoted as an OC, DC, or head coach. Like, I think there's like 2 guys in his tree, and they're like small colleges. Like, as I said, it's damning.
It really is. But everyone is so infatuated with the most useless, overrated stat in the history of sports. With that, he's never had a step. Who cares? If he's the head coach of due respect the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Arizona Cardinals, hell, the New York Jets, or the Miami Dolphins, that's one thing. You are the head coach of the New York Yankees of the NFL. Like at some point we have to put value in winning championships instead of being just good enough to be relevant, just being good enough to sell tickets, to sell jerseys, to be a talking point on sports television, to draw 20, 30 million people for your primetime games. They got to get back to where winning Super Bowls, at least competing in them, becomes more important than being just a relevant talking point. Because for still, yet another season's gone by, and we're going to go through another offseason and saying the Baltimore Ravens and Cincinnati Bengals are closer to winning the Super Bowl than the Pittsburgh Steelers are. And that even with the Ravens not having a coach right now, and even prior to last Tuesday with having Harbaugh and his fallacies and the Bengals with their tomfoolery, like if the alarm bells are not going off for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the fact that remains a factual, valid constant, then somebody needs to be awoken from their slumber of mediocrity. Because I don't understand how you can continue to go through the same dog and pony show every single game. I mean, they got rid of George Pickens and brought in a worse version of him. Like, this team is ass backwards personified. Like,
of course.
The Seahawks.
As I said, they're so infatuated with the Steeler way that they refuse to make the changes they need. They're caught up in their old traditions. And the reality is RD2 is Dan without anything that made Dan great. Dan had to make tough decisions. Remember, Bill Cowher, Tom Donahoe, that Civil War. You see RD2 doing that? Dan fired his own goddamn brother in the 80s. RD2's not doing that. RD2 is a finance guy who just believes in the pomp and circumstance. He's going to come out here, bask in the glory of the draft, and pretend everything's fine. That's all it is. And that's what everyone's sick over. It's just, the problem is, it's not that it's another blowout. The problem is this team is fucking predictable. We saw this all saw this coming from a mile away. It's like, oh boy, it's another season where you might barely get over 500, and then if you're lucky, you'll get your ass kicked in the wild card. Everyone's going to say, like, oh, we're spoiled. You make the playoffs every year. What's the point of making the playoffs? You're getting blown the fuck out every year, man. I'm going to warn you right now, mediocrity looks very enticing until you're stuck. And that's where the Steelers are. They're stuck. Guess who your best option for quarterback is next year? 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
There's no other. Who else is there? Fucking Kyler, Tua, Kirko. The rookie class looks terrible. I mean, the problem is they're going to try and beg for him to come back, and I don't think it's going to work.
Nope, it's not. And even going into the season, they brought in Arthur Smith as their new offensive coordinator.
Don't look at me. I didn't fucking want him.
But it's like, did you guys not watch the Atlanta Falcons when he was their head coach and see them? It's like do you guys not pay attention? Like, Arthur Smith he got fired from Atlanta for a reason. The Seahawks traded away. The Seahawks gave away DK Metcalf for a bag of Skittles for a reason. Do you think that if DK Metcalf still had value, that they wouldn't have found a way to make sure to keep him alongside Jackson Smith and Jigba, to have AJ, Devonta Smith, T and Jamar dynamic going on in Seattle? Like, do you not think, like, if they had a way to make it work, don't you think they would have found a way to kept them? But they realized he runs 3 routes. He runs 3 routes. He drops too many passes. He's an emotional head case, and he can't run block.
Out the fan. He nearly cost you a playoff spot this year. And the problem is, like, he's very similar to George Pickens. I know a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, you should have kept Pickens." Pickens was not doing what he did in Dallas and Pittsburgh. Not in an Arthur Smith offense. He wasn't. Not without using his wide receiver too. They're the same receiver. All you'd be doing is like going 4 deep verts. And it's a shame because George Pickens is a shitload of talent. But the reality is, once again, he crashed his way out of Pittsburgh. After that Cincy game, I'm saying, like, dude, you're done. Get out. And I would do that trade 1,000 times over because, once again, he was not doing what he did this year in Pittsburgh. Not by a long shot.
Not at all. And again, like you said, it's the same Tomlin culture. Antonio Brown, Claypool, Juju, Pickens, and now DK Metcalf. Deontay Johnson's another one. Like, at some point, again, who is going to put their foot down and be the adult in the room and put a stop to this nonsense? Are we going to continue to be satisfied with being just good enough to be relevant when we all know good and damn well you're not in the same echelon of the Bills, the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Denver Broncos as the teams that seriously can win and compete for Super Bowl championships instead of just being satisfied with being just good enough to get in as a 7th seed or winning a bad division a la this season? It's and they wonder why. I tell you, with Houston, right quick. Well, first off, before we get to Houston.
Whoa. Okay. Here's an update from Adam Schefter. I think I have to go to work now. After a historic 19-run season, Mike Tomlin informed his team is stepping down.
Oh, wow.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
That's apparently from Adam Schefter. Yep.
I literally was just
here, but it literally just update. Yep. Pelissero's reporting it too.
Wow. I literally was about to ask you, May of 2026, Mike Tomlin is fill in the blank.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, I might have to end this now. I got to go back to work.
Well, listen, that's fine. I literally was just about to ask you about Tomlin's future. Wow. And Zach Taylor's the only one still employed.
Yeah, which is hilarious. Yeah, but I mean, as I said, dude, I'm sorry. I got to end this early. I got to work. I got to go to work.
No, that's fine. To the Yenzer-mobile.
Yep. I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that. Dude, have yourself a great day, man. I got to get to work.
You too, man.
Literally just popped up.
No, that's perfect. That's it'll make for an entertaining show. But that's UrinatingTree. You can check him out. His channel obviously will be in the description. For those of you watching on YouTube, you can follow him on Twitter as well at UrinatingTree.